So we need to remember these steps when we're answering all simultaneous equation questions. So step 1, do we need to multiply to make the equations the same? Do we need to change the signs? Do we cancel x or y, and this will depend on each unique equation, and then substitute in x or y into the equation. Let's take a look at these questions here. So we have this equation and this equation, and we need to make the number in front of these two variables the same. So we can choose to cancel x or we can choose to cancel y. And then down here it's a little bit different because step 1 doesn't actually apply because we have two terms that are the same. So we have to skip to step 2 and change the signs across the whole expression. And then down here we're back to step 1 again. We have to multiply to make either the x's the same or the y's. Now in this scenario, making y the same is far easier than if we were to make x the same. But either way, it'll still work out. And I'm going to show you how to answer each of these now individually. So up first we have 3x plus 2y equal to 13 and x minus y equal to 1, and we're told to solve for x and y. Straight away step 1 applies because I don't have 3x on the top and 3x on the bottom, and I don't have 2y and 2y at the bottom. I'm missing the coefficient in front of these variables. So I either choose to multiply across by 3 or multiply across by 2. Now I'm going to choose to multiply across by 2 because by doing that I'll make my y's the same. So 3x plus 2y equal to 13 remains the same. Now I take my x minus y equal to 1, and I'm basically multiplying this line by 2. And when I do that, I get 2x minus 2y equal to 2. And now I can move on to the next one, step 2, which is change the signs. And I don't have to do that here because I have a plus 2y and a minus 2y, so they're going to cancel anyway. So now I skip to step 3 and I say, well, 2y plus 2y minus 2y is nothing. Okay, it's 0. And then I'm left with, well, 3 plus 2 is 5x equal to 13 plus 2 is 15. And now I simply solve for x. So we divide by the number in front of the variable, which is 5. So x will automatically give me 3. And now I use step 4, substitute x or y into the equation. So in this case we're substituting in x. The easiest equation to take is the bottom one here, but it doesn't matter which one you choose because it'll work out either way. So we have x minus y equal to 1. Well, x is 3 minus y equals 1. Minus y equals 1 minus 3. Minus y equals minus 2. Y equals 2. And how I got that was I simply moved this 3 over this side because it's letters on the left and numbers on the right, and you'll remember that from when we did algebra. Letters on the left, numbers on the right. And then I kept my minus. This became a minus 2. Because there's a minus here and a minus here, they cancel, and it just becomes y equals 2. Okay, so the next equation is a little bit more straightforward, like I said earlier, because we have a 3x and a 3x. So there's actually no need for step 1 here because I already have two terms that I can cancel. So I automatically skipped to step 2, which is change the signs. So I change the sign here. If I change it on the bottom, I have to change it to all of the terms on the bottom. Now it's easier if I change the sign on the top, because if the smaller number is a minus, I'll still keep positive numbers as my answer. So by changing the sign, this becomes a minus 3x. This becomes plus by a minus is a minus 4y, and a plus by a minus is a minus 2. So 3x minus 3x plus 3x is just 0, so they cancel. And then you're left with, well, minus 6 minus 4y would be minus 10y, because when the signs are the same, you keep the sign and add them. And you have minus 2 plus 12, which will give you 10, because when the signs are the same, or when the signs are different, you take the sign of the bigger number, which is 12 in this case, and you take them away, which gives you 10. Now, if I have 10y equal to 10, I divide by the number in front, so the number in front of my coefficient is minus 10. So this leaves me with y equal to minus 1, because anything divided by itself is 1, and a plus divided by a minus is always a minus. Now I can move to step 4, and I sub it into an equation. It doesn't matter which equation I use, I'm just going to take the bottom one here. So I have 3x minus 6y equal to 12, and I simply substitute in for y. So I have 3x minus 6 times minus 1 equal to 12. So I still have my 3x. Plus by a plus, or minus by minus is a plus, 6 by 1 is 6, so it's plus 6 equals to 12. So I do my letters on the left and my numbers on the right again. So I have 3x equal to 12 minus 6, because my numbers have to be on the right. When I move it over, it becomes a minus. 3x equals to, well, 12 minus 6 we all know is 6. And now I'm left with solving for x. So I divide by the number in front of x, which is 3. And that leaves me as x equals 2. And last but not least, we're going to look at this simultaneous equation here. And again, like the last one, it's kind of more straightforward, because I can automatically see that if I just multiply the top equation by 5, I'll have a 5 in front of my y, and I'll be able to cancel. Okay, so let's multiply across by 5. So multiply the top line by 5, and that becomes, well, 5 by 3x is 15x, and minus 5y equals to minus 60, because 5 by 12 is 60. Okay, now we're left with, we still have 4x minus 5y equal to minus 5. Step 2 says I need to change the signs, and I do, because if I have two minuses, that it will actually give me minus 10y, and I need to cancel them, so I need to multiply across by a minus. So I do that now, I change the signs. So this was a plus, so now it's a minus. Minus by a minus is a plus, and a minus by a minus is a plus. So now I can cancel here, and the second part of step 3 says to solve for x or y. So in this case, I'm going to solve for x. So straight away, I know that minus 15 plus 4 will give me minus 11x, and that is equal to 55. And if I have 11 in front of my x, I'm dividing by a minus 11. So straight away, x is now equal to minus 5, because a plus divided by a minus is a minus, and 11 divided by 55 is 5. So now I take my x equal to minus 5, and I sub it into whichever of the above equations I want. So I'm going to take the bottom one. So it's 4x minus 5y equal to minus 5. Okay, well, I'm subbing in minus 5 for x, so I have 4 times minus 5 minus 5y equal to minus 5. Okay, well, 4 times minus 5 is minus 20. Minus 5y equal to minus 5. and I put my letters on the left and my numbers on the right, so I keep my minus 5y on this side of the equals, moving over my 20, so I keep my minus 5, becomes plus 20 then, and I simplify, so I have minus 5y equal to 15, and I divide both sides by minus 5 because that's the number in front of my y, and I'm left with x equal to minus 3.